Another night, and we have no choice but to light the beam. Tonight, the Sacramento Kings took down the Brooklyn Nets 101-96. It was a second night of a road back-to-back for the Sacramento Kings. Last night, the game came right down to the wire as De'Aaron Fox hit a game winner against the Chicago Bulls. And tonight, the Sacramento Kings pulled out another close game that was highly, highly impressive. This was so impressive because the Kings got it done tonight on the defensive end of the court, defending at a high level and rebounding at an extremely high level. And that's very, very important as we head into the playoffs. I'm getting very, very high on the Sacramento Kings team. They're super fun to watch. And I think as we look at the Western Conference and how all these other teams are struggling, dealing with injuries, dealing with suspensions, everything that's going on over there, the Sacramento Kings are the one team that's surging. And right now they're the hottest team in the NBA, especially because it looks like Milwaukee's about to lose tonight. Sacramento's playing unbelievable basketball. We're going to break that down. We're going to talk a little bit about this Kings team, what I love about them so much. And we're going to talk about their stars and Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox, because Sabonis had another monster game tonight. He leads the league in 20-20 games, which is unbelievable. And I want to talk about where those guys stand in the NBA. But before we get into it, take a second to subscribe to the channel. We are up over 1,100 subscribers, and we're going to keep grinding, keep growing. As we head into the playoffs, we're going to be doing videos every single night when the playoffs start. It's going to be a ton of fun. We're going to enjoy it. And the Kings playoff basketball is returning to Sacramento. One of the best crowds in the entire NBA. I'm really hoping at some point, probably not this year, but maybe next year, the year after, I can get up to a Sacramento game because it looks electric in there. And even tonight, the way that they traveled to Brooklyn and there were light the beam chants at the end of the game. So tonight, Sacramento won 101-96. And Brooklyn had won 5 of their previous 7 games, and including wins over the Celtics, Timberwolves, and Denver Nuggets. In those games, they scored 115 points, 124 points, and 122 points. So the Kings holding the Brooklyn Nets to 96 points is no small feat. Yes, they lost Kevin Durant. Yes, they lost Kyrie Irving, but they've still been scoring a lot of points and playing at a high level. And tonight, the Sacramento Kings shut that down. And I think tonight it started with rebounding. They won the rebounding battle 57-41, which is absolutely demolishing someone on the board to win by 16. And it started with Domantas Sabonis. Sabonis had 21 rebounds, 24 points, 21 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 blocks. That's an elite level basketball game. And as many of you know, Domantas Sabonis is one of my favorite players in the NBA. I used to watch him a lot in Indiana because when he played with the Pacers, and I loved watching him warm up. It's something that I'm going to keep talking about because I think that it's so important. The way that he would warm up, the shots that he would practice, the ones he would practice in warm-ups were the ones that he would shoot in the game. And I thought that that was really, really important because the way that you watch how he plays, you can see how hard he works on his craft and how much he cares. I also saw an interview between De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, and Sabonis just spent a lot of time talking about how much they trusted Fox in the clutch, how important that was to the squad, that they knew that when a game was tight, when a game was close, that they could throw the ball into De'Aaron Fox and how much that meant for them. And I think that's so important. When you look at elite basketball teams, when you look at the top teams in the league, they have this confidence about them because they have that guy on their side. And, you take it over to football, and obviously I'm going to talk about some legends, but Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, even Joe Burrow being brought over to the Cincinnati Bengals. Though all those players have confidence and coolness in the clutch because they have those guys on their side. When you look at the Sacramento Kings team, everyone around them feels confident that they're going to be able to pull out wins because of having De'Aaron Fox on their side. And I think that that's so important. There's so many guys down the stretch that can hit big buckets. Obviously, Malik Monk hit a big 3 tonight to kind of close this game out, and that's absolutely what he can do. He's one of the best bench scorers in the entire NBA. Kevin Huerter went out with an injury tonight. After 6 minutes, they said hamstring. Sounds like he's going to be okay. From the reports that I'm reading, they're going to reevaluate him, but it said that he was in high spirits, and it sounds like Kevin Huerter's going to be able to get back on the floor before the season ends, which is going to be really important. So the Sacramento Kings are now the 2 seed. Memphis lost last night, puts them, I believe, a game and a half in front of Memphis, which is important in that race. And the thing about the Kings that I love so much is their depth. And tonight was a Kessler-Edwards revenge game, if there ever was one. Kessler-Edwards tonight had 10 points off the bench. And he's been playing really well in the last couple games. De'Aaron Fox had 18 points. Keegan Murray, Harrison Barnes, both over 10. Domantas Sabonis, like I said, monster game. Trey Lyles has been playing very good with 11 points tonight. They're playing a Brooklyn Nets team that has Mikal Bridges, who's been hooping. He had 23 points tonight. Nick Claxton had 14 and 14. So I want to talk for a second. I spent some time, and as we get closer to the end of the season, you start to look at some of the awards, and I think some of the awards you want to wait till the final game of the season to see what happens in these final 10 to 15 games, however many games that your team has, but before you truly make your final decision. But De'Aaron Fox is absolutely going to win this first clutch award, no doubt about that. But I think the more interesting conversation is De'Aaron Fox going to be a first-team All-NBA player? And I think the answer is we'll have to wait and see, but I'm leaning yes. When you look at the guard position in the NBA, you obviously have Luka Doncic, you have Steph Curry, you have De'Aaron Fox, you have Donovan Mitchell, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, John Morant, if he plays enough games. A lot of this is dependent on games played, but when you look at the Kings team being the number 2 seed in the Western Conference, this guy's played almost every game for the Kings. He's been consistent, he's been clutch, he's played in big moments. I think that you really have to consider De'Aaron Fox for that first team All-NBA, and I hope he gets the credence he deserved. Obviously, like I said, still 12 games left in the season, so we'll wait and see. But I think it's certainly on the table. And then I think Domantas Sabonis is a lock for third-team center. I think that Jokic and Embiid are going to win the first and second team All-NBA center. But the fact that the Sacramento Kings could have two guys on the All-NBA team, that's not easy to do. There's not going to be many teams in the NBA with multiple guys on the All-NBA team. So the fact that the Kings are probably going to have 2 guys on there, super, super impressive. And it just speaks to the talent and the depth on this team. The thing that I love about the Sacramento Kings is something we've talked about so much. Their offense is literally the best offense of all time. They're scoring the most points ever. Their offensive rating is the highest of all time. And I think as we get into the playoffs, they're on real watch to maybe break the all-time playoff scoring record in a game. And it'd be absolutely electric. One of the things we always talked about, and you hear for years, is that when you get to the playoffs, the game slows down a little bit. Half-court offense matters more. Defense becomes more of a priority. But when you look at the Western Conference, a lot of these teams are offensive-oriented. So I don't think that we're going to see the same effect to the playoffs that we have in previous years, especially because one of the things that I do think matters is free throws. And I don't think that the Sacramento Kings are a team that relies that heavily on the free throw game. I think that hurt guys like James Harden in the past who would shoot a ton of free throws in the regular season, and when they got to the playoffs and they weren't calling fouls. I don't think that will hurt the Sacramento Kings in the same way. So if they go into the playoffs and they're healthy and they get a good matchup in the first round, as it stands right now, they're the 2 seed. They play the Minnesota Timberwolves. That might be the ideal matchup when you're looking at that. I think that might be the team to play, even though Anthony Edwards is awesome. But the Sacramento Kings playing, you'd absolutely pick them in that series. In the second round against the Memphis Grizzlies, with everything they got going on, Steven Adams out for the year, absolutely have a chance in that series. So if the Sacramento Kings are then in the Western Conference Finals, and then I don't even know who would make it out of the other side of the bracket, maybe Denver, they've been struggling lately, or whoever else there. The Sacramento Kings are absolutely in play to make the NBA Finals. And even more so, they're in play to make the Western Conference Finals, and that'd be the first time since, Chris Webber days when they got hosed against the Los Angeles Lakers with Shaq and Kobe. So Sacramento Kings fans got to feel stoked out of their mind. Sacramento tonight, like I said, destroyed in the rebounding battle, defended at a high level, and they've won 8 of their last 10. And I think it's so impressive that they played a close game against the Chicago Bulls last night, and then were able to come back and win tonight against the Brooklyn Nets. You know how hard it is to, be on the road, get to your hotel super late after playing in Chicago, taking a plane over to New York, and then getting to your hotel super late, getting very little sleep, and then going on the road and winning another game. That's what I like about this Kings team, is so many other teams are so focused on load management and guys not playing games. The Kings guys play basketball games, and they have a lot of really good players that really care about it. And I think that camaraderie, the chemistry they've been able to develop with all their guys being on the court is going to be super, super important when you're talking about the Phoenix Suns having very little chemistry, this new Lakers team having very little chemistry. Ja Morant's been out for a little while. And obviously some other teams in the West, the Mavericks, if they squeeze in. A lot of those teams have not played a lot of games together. So in a big moment down the stretch of a playoff game that's tight and close, yeah, I trust De'Aaron Fox and the Sacramento Kings more than I trust a lot of teams in the Western Conference. And I think that's why you should be encouraged. That's why you should be feel like you absolutely have a chance as the Sacramento Kings. Kings play the Wizards on the 18th, which is what, Saturday. They play in Washington, so they're on a little road stretch here. Obviously, these games are really important, and the Kings are actually a decent road team, if I'm correct. Let me look at that real quick. Yeah, 20-13 on the road. They have the best road record in the Western Conference. That also means something. You're talking about a team that travels well, plays the best offense in the NBA, is the best clutch team in the NBA. So many marks checked for the Sacramento Kings, and I think going into the playoffs, I'm pumped to watch what they're able to do. I'm pumped to see if they can get De'Aaron Fox on the first team All-NBA and Sabonis on the third team. That would be awesome. I am about to order my Sacramento Kings jersey here in the coming days. I've been trying to find it in store because I have a place that I get most of my jerseys, but they haven't had a Kings one in a little while, so I'm just going to have to order it online. But going to get my Kings jersey. We're going to be rocking that for the playoffs. I know the arena's going to be rocking, the city, the fan base. It's going to be crazy, and I can't wait to watch what the Sacramento Kings do in the playoffs. Make sure before you go to bed tonight to light that beam. Cyborg out.